Here we are in the laundry area, and this door opens to a kind of closet where you can find a valve that has been installed that can help redirect greywater from upstairs either down to the greywater pump or to the sewer. And this particular valve is labeled here. Water is coming down from upstairs from the shower and can go down to the greywater or over into the main sewer line. This is coming from the toilet upstairs. And to use it, you can just turn this handle to where this off label, you might be able to see here, is pointed either to the sewer, so this is blocking water from the sewer, or can block water from the greywater and now allow water down into the sewer. So there's just kind of this little gate in here that can block water from going in particular directions. So most of the time we leave it like this. If we were putting something particularly hazardous into the greywater, like in the shower upstairs, we might turn it so that that water went down the sewer instead of into the greywater system. Next, we can look right outside and find where the greywater comes out of the house. That's right down here. So this gathers greywater from all of the sources in the house. It goes down under the sidewalk here and over into this tank. And in this tank, this is just a cover to keep things from falling in to the tank. This is where the greywater goes down into the tank, and then this is where a pump down in the tank pushes the greywater out to the yard. There are a couple things about this tank. One is that sometimes the pump gets there's a lot to say there. Sometimes the pump gets clogged and turns off, and in that case it can trip the power that goes to the pump. On this particular setup, if that happens, back over here, back at the house, this is above the outlet, back at the house, it can help to reset this outlet, which happens to send power to that pump. Another thing that I can show a bit later is how you might open this up and clear it out. There's a lot of soap deposit that sometimes accumulates in there. This top lid spins a little bit and can lift off, and you can lift out some of those solids. It looks just kind of like white, chunky cream cheese stuff. This seems to be like old solidified soap and fats, and that can be discarded, and that can help the tank work a bit better. If we look for one of the outlets in the backyard, we can find that pretty easily here. There are several greywater outlets where the water goes into the yard. Hi, chickens. There's one here under the mulberry tree. And if we uncover this, we can find, oh, delicious. We got a lot of worm activity. Here is one of the covers of that greywater system. There's a pipe that goes from that pump and dumps into this vertical pipe. This vertical pipe has holes in it and allows water to drain into the ground. One last little bit about this vertical drain is that every year or so it can be helpful to dig out this area about a foot around this drain pipe, and to refill that with mulch and leaves and sticks, and that can allow the water to drain out of this pipe really easily rather than being blocked by roots or by sediment that accumulates there. And that's most of the system here in the backyard or in the front yard at Kingsley. There are several other outlets kind of like this, and most of the maintenance again is checking to make sure that the pump is working and that the drains are not sending any water out onto the surface of the ground, but that it all drains underground. This is a tool I made for helping clean out the Greywater tank. I've whimsically labeled it a Greywater ladle, and it is just a flower pot, a small plastic flower pot that I stapled to this piece of wood here, and I use it to reach in and pull out the solids from the Greywater tank. Again, this is like solidified soap scum basically in that tank, and the holes allow water to drain out, which is great. The handle allows you to reach down into the tank a bit more easily, and then I've marked it on the top with whenever I've used it last. And actually looking at it right now, it looks like it's been a year since I've used it, so I think I should probably give it another shot, or maybe I forgot to mark it, but we can look and see. I'm wearing a glove here because sometimes the Greywater stuff can be a bit gross, and if it gets under your fingernails, it can take a while to wash it out. This particular lid just twists a little bit in order to lift it off, so I can reach in here, push part of that lid around, and I might have just twisted it in the wrong direction. Yes, I did. Okay, so just like normal screws. Oh, there we go. Twisted it around the opposite direction. It looks like a bunch of ants have made their home here. This whole thing can lift off around those pipes. Oh, it looks like we've got a good crop of that white scum I was talking about. So here with this pump has I'll just point with the Greywater ladle. This pump has a float valve that when the valve gets lifted far enough, the pump turns on. And I can probably show you that by just lifting the pump a little bit further here. There, the pump just turned on. I can hear it. It's a pretty quiet one. And then the float will drop as the water drops, and then eventually the float will turn off the pump. You can see more and more of the pump at the top of it getting exposed there, and now it's just turned off. And you can see some of the scum exposed here on the edges. The ladle can scrape some of that off. It's fairly solid. And this just seems to be leftover soap particulates. I'm not sure that it's from any particular product. It's just something that I've seen accumulate in all of these Greywater systems over time. The water can drain out from the ladle, and then these remaining bits you can toss in regular garbage.